Okay, I'm trying to record this over in Substack, so I hope all is going well. There, we are going to press on. So, haven't done one of these for a while, and sorry about that, but it's a bit ambitious starting to do readings of 4 novels, I know, in a week, but I'm trying to get back into it because I do enjoy doing it, and it's nice just to share stuff with you in this kind of special way. I thought about doing it live, and that seems to be a whole another kettle of fish, tech-wise, but maybe we'll try that another day. So I hope this is working okay. This being a Thursday, it is Thriller Fiction Thursday with me, the author, Michael Campling. We are reading Lawful Duty. This is the old cover. There's a much nicer cover on it now. And set in 1992 in Exeter. So, Lawful Duty, Chapter 9, read by the author, Michael Campling. Sitting in the driving seat of his BMW 5 Series on St. Leonard's Road, Barry Lehman almost smiled. There were times when the police were almost competent, and all he had to do was tag along. What was more, they really could be very entertaining. The way this pair had chased after Tony Carter, it had been a treat to watch. He'd pay good money to see clowns like those two any day of the week. Especially the younger one, all earnest enthusiasm and dogged determination, still smiling even though he'd just run himself ragged. He was new, and he might turn out to be fun. Paddy Riley, on the other hand, had a way of putting a dampener on things. He was too contrary for his own good. On the plus side, Riley played by the rules most of the time, and that made him predictable. Predictable was good. Predictable was useful. Riley was good at his job, but he wasn't the sharpest tool in the box. He hadn't noticed Lehman tailing him from Carter's place of work, and he hadn't even noticed the BMW as it drove onto West Grove Road and stopped on the opposite side of the street. Of course, Lehman had parked more thoughtfully than Riley, so he'd been able to turn his car around with ease. He'd simply reversed to the junction, tucked his car around the corner, and waited for Riley to go racing past. He'd followed at a reasonable distance, certain that Riley had his mind on the chase. Then he'd parked to enjoy the show. Now all he had to do was follow Riley's vulgar little car to the police station, and he'd take it from there. It was all a little too easy. As that was so short, we're going to chapter 10. In the interview room, Spiller watched while Riley unwrapped 2 new cassettes and placed them in the recorder. On the other side of the table, the man who'd finally identified himself as Tony Carter sat with his arms folded, staring straight ahead as if oblivious to their presence. The cassette recorder emitted a beep. "Bingo," Riley said. "DS Riley and DC Spiller present, interviewing Mr. Anthony Carter at 11:15 a.m. He clapped his hands together. "Right, let's begin, Tony. Is it all right if I call you Tony?" With a show of reluctance, Carter looked at Riley. Then he nodded to the recorder. "What's all this about?" "Oh, it's high-tech is this," Riley replied. "We've only been using it since January. Consider yourself privileged." "Lucky me, but what's it for? What am I supposed to have done?" "We'll come to that," Riley said. "Why did you run, Tony?" Carter shrugged his shoulder. "I like running. It's good for you." "In your jeans and your woolly jumper?" Riley asked. "Not exactly dressed for it, were you, lad?" "I can wear what I like, can't I?" "Oh, yes." Riley sat back in his seat. "You legged it before we had a chance to introduce ourselves. So you didn't know we were police, did you?" "No. How could I?" "Who did you think we were?" Carter let out a humourless laugh. "No idea, but I reckoned you were bad news. I wasn't far wrong." "That's just rude, lad. Where are your manners?" "I'll have you know we're a couple of upstanding officers of the law." "How come you shoved me against your car then? That was police brutality, that was." Riley shook his head. "Nothing of the sort. That was what we call minimum necessary force to detain. Besides, you were a danger to the public running about like that. You could have had some poor old deer off her feet." Carter's only reply was a rolling of his eyes. "Do you drive a van, Tony?" Riley went on. "Are you joking? Do I look like I drive a bloody van? I've got an Audi Quattro, mate." Riley made a show of being impressed. "I bet that goes, doesn't it?" "It can, but I stick to the speed limit. If I get banned, I'd lose my job, so I take it easy." "Glad to hear it," Riley said. "You didn't go to work today, though, did you? Heavy night last night, was it?" "I might have had a couple." "More than that, I reckon," Riley said. "You're looking a bit rough." Carter tutted in contempt. "So what?" So I'm interested in what you've been up to, Riley replied. When we knocked on your door, you reckoned someone was after you. Maybe that's something to do with that black eye. No, you're barking up the wrong tree, mate. Riley smiled. I'm not your mate. I'm a detective sergeant conducting a lawful inquiry. Now, how did you come by that shiner? It was some bloke the other night. He took a dislike to me, gave me a thump. Did you report it? Spiller asked. No, it was nothing. It looks nasty to me, Spiller said. Do you know the man's name? Carter shook his head. What was this disagreement about? Riley asked. I don't know. I don't remember. It was late and I'd had a few pints. We've all been there, Riley said, but tell us the details and we'll move on. Where and when? Carter sighed. Saturday night, outside the icebox. It's a nightclub by the quay. Some bloke reckoned I looked at him the wrong way or something. I told him to bugger off, so he thumped me. Riley sucked air over his teeth. Harsh. But you're a big lad. I expect you gave as good as you got, didn't you? No, it was one punch and that was an end to it. I let it go. I don't go looking for trouble. That's a sensible attitude, Spiller said. But I'm not sure I believe it. That's your problem. It's what happened. Was there anyone who can back up your story? Spiller asked. No, it was outside. There was just me and him. Riley drummed his fingers on the table as though deep in thought, letting the silence in the room build. Is this really what you want to talk about? Carter went on. I told you it was one punch. Haven't you got anything better to do? You would not believe the amount of work waiting on my desk, Riley replied. But as of now, you are my number one priority. Carter lowered his eyebrows as his statement sank in. Who was with you on Saturday night? Riley went on. Well, I don't know. There are a few of us. It was a lads' night out. It wasn't just the lads, though, Riley said. There were some girls, too. I suppose so. What about it? It's an important detail, Riley replied. Tell me who you were with that night. Seriously? Riley nodded, his gaze locked on Carter. All right, I'll try. There was my mate Wayne and Eddie and... Your full names, please, Spiller interrupted. Carter licked his lips. Wayne O'Neill, Eddie Appleton, Keith Osborne. Is that good enough for you? Or do you want me to spell them out? That's fine for now, Spiller replied. But once again, you're steering clear of mentioning the women, but you won't need their names too. Why? I told you it was me and the lads. There were a few girls hanging around, but so what? So stop beating about the bush and give us their names, Riley said. Okay, I give in. No need to get knocked. Carter smirked. Let me think. There was Ashley. That's Ashley Hawkins. She goes out with my mate Keith, so we might have talked to her a bit. She was with her friends, Mel Parker and Lindsay Clifford. Tell me about Lindsay. Why? What's she got to do with... Come off it, Riley interrupted. You are Lindsay's boyfriend, aren't you? Yeah, well, I was. Was? Spiller said. Why do you use the past tense? Because she dumped me, that's why. What are you getting at? We're asking the questions, Riley intoned. And we want to know about Lindsay Clifford. Hang on, is she okay? You tell me, Riley said. Carter shifted in his seat. I haven't seen her since Saturday night. Something happened? You sound worried, Tony, Riley replied. Carter pulled a face as though Riley had said something ridiculous. Me? Never. So you weren't bothered when Lindsay gave you the elbow? Riley asked. Plenty more fish in the sea? But you and Lindsay... excuse me. But you and Lindsay have been going out for a long time, Spiller said. You must have been upset when she broke it off. Not so much. It's not like I'm a teenager. Spiller nodded thoughtfully. Did you have a key to Lindsay's flat? No, I did not. Spiller heard the resentment in Carter's tone and knew he'd touched a nerve. You'd have liked a key, though, wouldn't you? We're not going out any more, so it's beside the point, isn't it? Nevertheless, I'd be grateful if you'd answer the question, Spiller said. All right. It would have been handy, but she didn't want it that way. End of story. Spiller saw the glint of anger in Carter's eye and chanced to bluff. You used to have a key to Lindsay's flat, but she changed the lock, didn't she? Tony blinked in surprise, but he recovered quickly. Are you accusing me of something? Spiller's smile was serene. I'm not accusing you, Tony. I simply want to know what happened. Did Lindsay give you a key and then subsequently change the lock? Well, it was kind of like that, but you're making it sound as if I did something wrong, and it was nothing, really. Enlighten us, Riley said. Well, Lindsay gave me a key a while back, but about a month ago Carter paused to run his tongue over his lips. I went round to her place after work. I thought Lindsay was going to be in, but I'd had a few pints after work and I'd forgotten about her class. She goes to step aerobics once a week, and I got the days muddled up. So you used your key and let yourself in, Spiller suggested. Well, yeah, to be honest, I needed a slash, so I went in. I didn't think she'd mind, otherwise, what was the point of me having a key? I take it Lindsay did mind, Riley said. Yeah, but it was... Again, Carter broke off, his cheeks flushing. To Spiller, the man seemed to have gone from looking guilty to being merely embarrassed. Softening his tone, Spiller said, Go on, Tony, tell us what happened. Well, I needed a coffee to sober myself up, but I dropped the jar of instant and it went all over the floor. It sounds daft, but when I tried to clean it up, I used a wet cloth and made even more of a mess. I looked for a mop, but when I opened the broom cupboard, a load of stuff fell out. I dare say I lost my temper a bit, and that's when... Lindsay came home, Spiller said. Carter nodded. She wasn't too pleased. After that, she changed the lock and said she didn't want any uninvited visitors. Lindsay gave a copy of the new key to her father, Spiller said. Did you know that? No, but it's no wonder. He owns the place, and, well, you know. What do we know? Riley asked. Well, she's Daddy's golden girl, isn't she? Lindsay can do no wrong, not in his eyes. Fathers and daughters, eh? Riley said. Tell me about it. Carter's lopsided smile said he didn't give a damn, but there'd been a hint of bitterness in his voice. Did you get on with Lindsay's father? Spiller asked. Yeah, well enough. He's a decent bloke. Spiller nodded in acknowledgement. What about her mother? We haven't spoken much, but she seems nice. Riley sent Carter a conspiratorial smile. I saw her once at a fundraiser. She's a good-looking woman. Yeah, fancy taking a pop at her, did you? What are you on about? Carter spluttered. You know what I mean, Riley insisted. The older woman. You wouldn't be the first young man to... This is ridiculous, Carter interrupted. I don't know where you're getting this, but it's a load of... He glanced at the cassette recorder before adding, Oh, rubbish, Riley grinned. Is it? I wouldn't put it past you, Tony. Not satisfied with the daughter, you have a go at the mother. That would be awkward, wouldn't it? Much easier, though, if Lindsay was out of the way. For God's sake, Carter muttered, an edge of anger creeping into his tone. It's like a bloody nuthouse in here. Why don't you start making sense? No need to lose your temper, Spiller said. I'm not bloody well losing my temper, Carter snapped. It's you two, you're winding me up. Why are you going on about Lindsay's mum all of a sudden? And what's all this stuff about the flat? Riley glanced at Spiller. Tell him, Detective Constable. Give him the bad news. Riley. Oh, sorry. Certainly, Detective Sergeant. Spiller locked eyes with Carter. I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but Lindsay Clifford is missing. We're very concerned for her safety, and you may well be the last person who saw her. Carter stared at each of them in turn, his expression blank, his eyes dulled by confusion. Do you have anything to say about Lindsay's disappearance? Riley asked. Can you tell us where she is? I don't... Carter looked down, shaking his head. She can't. Not Lindsay, not my Lindsay. When did you last see her? Riley asked. I told you, Carter replied, his tone uncertain. Saturday night. You'll have to do better than that, Riley said. Place and time. It was outside the club just after 12:30. I wondered where she was, so I went out looking for her. She was outside by the water, just standing there by herself. Was this before or after you got thumped? Riley asked. Before. You sound very sure of that, Spiller said. Earlier you claimed you didn't remember what time you were assaulted. Oh, I know it happened afterwards because I went on a bit of a bender after she chucked me. Carter looked crestfallen as he recalled the memory. I found her outside and she said she wanted to break up with me. I tried talking to her, but she didn't want to know. She said it was all over. I bet that hurt, Riley said. I bet it made you angry. No, I wasn't angry with her. With myself, maybe, for mucking it up, but not with Lindsay. We talked to Lindsay's neighbours, Spiller said. There were reports of arguments. Carter's cheeks had been pale, but now they coloured. Who said that? It was that stupid cow downstairs, wasn't it? Carol, poking her nose in. She's got a bloody nerve with the way she carries on. We're not at liberty to disclose who gave us the information, Spiller replied, but I take it you don't get on with Lindsay's neighbours. Why is that? Well, I don't really talk to them, but I know when something's going on under my nose. Lindsay never saw it, and I never told her, but you might want to ask Carol about all the blokes who come and go. We'll decide who we want to interview, Riley said. Right now it's you we're talking to, and I'll remind you that your ex-girlfriend is missing. You don't seem too worried about it. course I'm worried, but I don't know what else to tell you. Riley slammed his hand against the table and Carter flinched. Start with the truth, Riley growled. Lindsay dumped you, so you lost your temper. You got rough with her, and she lashed out to defend herself. She punched you in the eye, but it wasn't enough to stop you. You went too far, didn't you, Tony? No, this is bullshit. You told us you were outside when you got hit, Riley said. You also said there was no one else around. But now it turns out that Lindsay was outside. Was she with this other bloke? Is that it? Carter clenched his jaw, the muscles in his cheeks twitching. Was Lindsay cheating on you? Riley went on. Had she found someone else? No, but... Spiller offered an encouraging nod. Go on, Tony. Tell us what happened. After she chucked me, I went back inside. I needed a drink and the lads were getting the tequilas in, so I had one or two. After a bit, I told them what had happened, and someone reckoned there'd been a bloke sniffing around Lindsay all night. He'd even been outside with her. Do you know the man's name? Riley asked. Mank, that's what they call him. I don't know his real name, but I've seen him around. And you had reason to believe he'd been chatting up your girlfriend, Riley said. What did you do about that? Nothing. Are you sure about that? Riley asked. You didn't confront him? Carter gestured angrily at the table as though it were to blame for his troubles. Look, I'd had a few drinks, all right. I saw the bloke walking out, and I might have gone after him to have a word. I don't recall what I said, but it must have put his back up because he thumped me. And that was it. My mate came out and picked me up. He told me to leave it, and that was that. Where was Lindsay during this altercation? Riley asked. I don't know. I didn't see her around. I figured she'd gone home. So you left her on her own outside at night? Spiller said. Oh, wrong voice, sorry. So you left her on her own outside at night? Spiller said. Were you concerned about her? What was I supposed to do? She told me to leave her alone. You could have made sure someone was with her, Spiller replied. Friend, perhaps? Yeah, but I wasn't thinking straight. Besides, Lindsay's not daft. She can look after herself. Apparently not, Riley said. Again, a silence built up as the two policemen regarded Carter in silent approbation. Look, I don't know what Lindsay did after she chucked me. I wish I did. I wish she hadn't broken up with me. But I've told you what happened, and there's no point banging on about it. You ought to be out there looking for her. We're taking care of all that, Riley replied. How would Lindsay normally get home after a night out? If I was with her, we'd walk. That'd take you about 15 minutes, Riley said. Which way did you go? Right, depends on who was there. We'd sometimes walk a friend's home. Very chivalrous, Riley muttered. But if it was just the two of you, did you ever go for a stroll? Not really. We just went back to her place. Riley leaned forward and lowered his voice as if sharing a conspiracy. There's Bull Meadow Park on the way home, isn't there? You didn't make a habit of popping in there for a quickie in the bushes, did you? Carter pulled a face. We're not kids. We didn't need to muck about like that. To Spiller, Riley said, Make a note. We'll organise a search. Bull Meadow Park. Got it, Spiller replied. What about the quayside? We should call the divers in. Riley nodded. Good thinking. I'll arrange that. Hang on, Carter blurted. Are you saying you don't think... We don't know what to think, Riley replied. But you can help us out, Tony. Can you do that? For Lindsay's sake, can you tell us where she is? No. The last time I saw her was outside the club when she chucked me, I swear. Let's say we believe you, Spiller began. Would Lindsay have walked home on her own? Carter frowned. No, thinking about it, she would have taken a taxi. She was careful about that. We'll check the taxi companies, Spiller said. Might she have taken a bus? Not from the quay, Spiller replied. Not at that time of night. And before we start looking at taxis, we need to talk to this Mank character. Are you sure you don't know his real name, Tony? All I know is it's best to steer clear of him. That's what everybody says. But you confronted him because he'd been talking to Lindsay, Spiller pointed out. That seems careless, Tony. I'd had too much to drink. It was a stupid thing to do, and I've regretted it ever since, so... Carter broke off, chewing his lower lip. What's up? Spiller asked. What were you going to say? I was just thinking, if you talk to Mank, do me a favour. Don't tell him what I said about him. Don't mention me at all, okay? You're scared, Riley stated. Why is that? Carter shook his head. I'm saying nothing. Riley grunted in disapproval. Help us out here and we won't forget it. I've said all I'm going to say. That's not good enough, Spiller shot back. I don't believe a word you've said, Mr. Carter. I've told you the truth. Lindsay dumped me and told me to stay away. So I went inside and had a few drinks. I was by the bar all night. You can ask anybody. Loads of people saw me there. When did you leave? Spiller asked. Me and the lads left at chucking out time, 2 in the morning. We went straight home. We walked. That's a fair walk, Riley said. Why didn't you call a taxi? I'd had too many. Throw up in a taxi and they charge you a tenner, sometimes more. I didn't want that. Better to walk it off. I had my mates with me, so we were all right. We need phone numbers and addresses for your friends, Spiller said. We need to talk to them. In a rush, as if he decided to get it over with, Carter reeled off contact details for his friends, and Spiller jotted them all down. Riley thanked him, then said, Do you ride a bike, Tony? Carter stared at him. No, why? And there's a man's bike in the hallway at Lindsay's place, Riley replied. Is it yours? Of course not. I take the Quattro while I walk. What about your friends? Any of them keen cyclists? Riley said. No, they've all got their own cars. Do any of them drive a van? Spiller asked. Carter shook his head. This again? No, definitely not. Is that it? Only I've had enough. I want to go home. I'm done. In the silence that followed, Spiller studied Carter and saw a look in the man's eyes that he couldn't quite fathom. Was Carter filled with regret at his drunken evening, troubled by the realization that he'd landed himself in the firing line for no good reason? Or was he haunted by guilt? No, you really do look worried, Spiller said. I'm worried about Lindsay. So are we, son, Riley said. If you know anything that might... Excuse me, nearly there. So are we, son, Riley said. If you know anything that might help us find her, you better tell us now. I've said everything I can. I really want to go. I'm allowed to go, aren't I? Spiller waited for Riley to pass judgment. Personally, he would have liked to hold on to Tony Carter until they'd had time to check out his alibi, but they didn't have sufficient grounds to detain him. Sure enough, Riley sat back, his weary smile signalling the end of the interview. We're not stopping you from leaving, Riley said. We might need to talk to you again, and we'll be having a word with your friends, but don't even think about cooking up a story between you, because we will find out. If anybody lies, we'll be coming after you and your pals, okay? We don't need to lie. We didn't do anything wrong. We'll see, Riley replied. But we've gone as far as we can for now. Let's leave it at that. Riley announced the interview was over and stopped the tape. Is that it? Carter asked. Can I go? Riley held out his hands. You could have left any time you wanted. You should have said that before we started. I wasn't obliged to, and you didn't ask. Riley jumped to his feet. Come on, Tony. We're done for now. I'll escort you off the premises. Carter stood uncertainly. What about Lindsay? What are you going to do? We'll find her, Spiller replied, standing up. We're doing everything we can. Whatever's happened, it wasn't anything to do with me, Carter said. I told you the truth. Honest. I hope so, Tony. Riley extended his arm and guided Carter toward the door. Listen, we might call on you again, but don't leg it next time, okay? Carter nodded dumbly as he made for the door, his fingers pressed against his brow as if to ward off a headache. It's not your lucky day, is it, son? Riley said. I'll tell you what, I'll see if I can rustle up a patrol car to take you home. You're all right, I'll walk, Carter replied. I need some air. Suit yourself, lad. Spiller and Riley accompanied Carter to the main entrance. Then they stood for a while, their hands in their pockets as they watched him trudge away. We didn't have enough to arrest him with, did we? No, sorry, We didn't have enough to arrest him, did we? Spiller asked. Unfortunately not, Riley not doing well. Unfortunately not, Riley replied. And to be honest, there isn't much point in talking to his mates. They'll say anything to keep their friend out of trouble. But never fear, there's a long way to go yet. But we'll get there. And there's no time like the present. Let's go. Riley set off for the car park and Spiller fell into step beside him. Next stop, the quayside, Riley said. Oh, blimey. Good job we're nearly at the end. Next stop, the quayside, Riley said. Are we going to the club? We certainly are, but we won't get far on an empty stomach. There's a nice little cafe down there, so we'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We'll grab a bite and see what we can see, okay? Sounds like a plan? That doesn't sound like Spiller, does it? Sounds like a plan. Good, because I, for one, am in dire need of a strong cup of coffee. And there we finally made it to the end. Sorry about the mistakes. It is recorded as live, which means I just have another go. So, hopefully you're subscribing on YouTube or Substack or wherever you're seeing this video. The root of all the stories and the various readings is... I renamed my Substack. This is come and gone, but it's now at michaelcampling.com. Who knows whether that might change, but wherever you're watching this, just keep watching there and keep subscribing, liking, sharing. those are wonderful things, because one reason there's been a gap is that I need to get some interest in this to justify my time. So if I have subscribers, if I have people watching it, if people sharing it, liking, commenting, I will know to keep going. If I don't get those things, you got to wonder, shall I keep going? It takes a while. I try to improve the audio a bit for the podcast version. So if you're listening to that, wherever you're listening to it, thank you very much. Same applies. Liking, sharing, commenting is great. So if you know somebody who might like the podcast, for instance, maybe let them know about it. Share it, subscribe, all that good stuff. I know everybody asks you for this and it's a drag, and you end up subscribed to more things probably than you actually want, but it all helps. It helps to support the creators. And like I say, going to michaelcampling.com, you'll find all of them. If you're on YouTube, I'm putting out quite a few little short videos as well, so it's worth subscribing on YouTube. I'd love to have more subscribers on YouTube so that I can help to grow that channel. And like I say, I'd like to be able to do these live. It is a little bit tiring on the voice, as you notice. I started to make more mistakes as I go on, because readings is different to doing a different kind of production, like where you're just speaking off the cuff. It's a very different thing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And thank you so much for sharing this with me. And hopefully, all being well, we'll have Science Fiction Friday tomorrow, and then Mystery Fiction Monday coming up, Time Travel Tuesday, and then back to Thriller Thursday again. So, Thriller Fiction Thursday. I've been Michael Campling. You've been you. Thank you very much. And happy reading, happy listening, happy enjoying whatever books you're into. And take care. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.